Q again, and this is the new expansion, the Outer Brood. Even though I'm in a zone for the other, this is what I do. I tend to just play in the slightly older zones until I get all my AAs maxed, and then I'll move on. Gives a chance for the tryhards and stuff to kind of get out of the beginning zones for the new xpac, run ahead of me a little bit. It's kind of like if you're a runner that's running in a marathon, but you're really not, you don't really belong among the leaders or anything, let them run ahead, get a little space, and then you have a nice, consistent, easy run. Anyway, I am really excited about something that I didn't really realize this xpac was going to have. And that is this. Scourge of Eternity, which is a undead dot that when you cast it on something not undead is has a very, frankly, a decent dot damage to it for the cost. It only costs like 3K, and with the reductions and everything, it ranges a lot less than that even. This is a really cheap dot, but has the potential to be very powerful if you're casting it on an undead mob, right? Because it goes, if it's undead, it jumped up to 11.5K, which to a necro, because of all of our bonuses we get for dots with our AAs and stuff, is pretty massive damage. It's among the higher DPS, and it's the highest DPS per. Here it is right here. See, I turned it undead, smoldering bones, and that's how you do it, right? Smoldering bones, it makes it appear undead, and that makes this dot good, as well as the slow. So we get an extra fun dot, and we get a slow. This dot is cheap, so instead of casting like 2 or 3 more other dots, you can just, yeah, you can keep casting this dot over and over again, as long as you keep turning it undead. So yeah, really cheap, easy way to finish off a mob. And because it's the only thing is you have to make sure you get this effect for it to really properly recast on it again. You can recast on this 2 or 3 times if you want at cost before it goes all the way away, and you're golden. You're good. I think it's even cheaper than it's even cheaper than the swarm pets we have, man, by a good amount. It's a cheap dot, cheap, powerful dot, really good. So that, for me, that means I'm going to keep smoldering bones, or immolate bones. I'm going to keep this in my lineup permanently, no matter what, because I want to use that dot for the extra DPS. And if I'm using that dot, I may as well slow the mob. May not help that much, but it helps a little bit. And it's good. So let me run down the changes I've done to accommodate this, the nice little bonus spells in this xpac. I just gave you an example of sort of. I'll go through it. Okay, so this is the lineup I'm using in my normal just combat spells lineup here, right? We have a Petrifying Wounds, which is the magic super long dot that has that second extra dot that goes on if this finishes, which I always use. Not everybody uses that on just grinding On trash mobs, they'll omit this, I guess. I don't know. I just leave it in the lineup. It's fine. I use it. And these other in this long dot. This right here is a combo dot. This is the current one now that uses the more current other disease dots that we have that does that, and this disease dot, the grip line that adds debuffs on and stuff, as well as do damage. So there's a little extra damage from that because I was using the old one. Really just, and then just the rest of the regular dots. So the biggest difference is you got the new combo dot, and you got the new undead dot that is very usable, and I recommend everybody using it for everyday use. It's good on everything as long as you change it to undead. And if they're already undead, you know, screw it, you know. Put something else in for that nuke, you know. Also, we get an extra spell slot. I have 14 spell slots, not just 13. I had saved up a number of AAs before the xpac. I had the max at, I banked 250, so I got the new spell slot right off the bat to start off with. I'm just going to grind AAs till I get them all maxed out before I go to the new zones. It's just what I like to do. You don't have to. It's just what I like to do. So there we go. I thought, here, let me, one more example. Oh yeah. So not quite yet. Let me go ahead and get my targeting right here. So I had to adjust my macros a little bit for that, right? So this right here, instead of a sort of a lazy, just because I only had 3 things on it before, I didn't turn it into a mash button or a spam button, some people call them. And because of that, I had to change the order a little bit of stuff. So this does Swarm Pet because it's got the longest cooldown. Next longest cooldown is about the same cooldown as Immolate Bones. And then Eternity has a slightly longer cooldown, I think, than the Blood Nuke, the one that gives the chaotic buff on it, you know, on stuff for us. I call it Blood Nuke because it usually is something for blood. So my slang term for it is Blood Nuke. And then if I want to kind of mash it extra fast to do Wake the Dead, I just tack that on at the end of, because if something's on cooldown, the spell gems haven't refreshed yet. If you mash this quick enough, it'll do this then. So that's easily done. So this is so I'd rearrange this button here, and what the order is where I pull, send the pet in, right? So I pull with this Encroaching Darkness, and then this also has Scent of Thule that I can use because this is instant cast. This will cast this right away. Then I have Eradicate Magic just in case we got bad guys that have nasty buffs on them. But this will slow it. The Scent of Thule AA that's what slows when I turn them undead. Anyway, so I pull it with this, and then I send the pet in with that, and then I go straight to number 6 here with the spam buttons to get all this stuff going. To get the Immolate Bones, so I can put that dot on after changing undead and slow it. I don't bother with the Blood Nuke. Then I go straight to my long dots, then medium dots, then my short dots. And by the time I get these done, this dot right here, the new dot, the undead dot, is about done. At the very least, it's blinking. Then I just do the spam button all over again. And if things go right, I'll be able to refresh it. And if things don't go right, if it's off all the way, I can still, even if say the nuke got resisted and it didn't turn them undead, I can still do this if this isn't on already. And then when I go around again and I try to change it undead, and I do, if it's undead and I cast this again, it'll refresh, it'll put the better one on top of the other one that was on that previously. But if it's still on and you have the undead part of this dot, the super good, is that it? Yeah. The super good part, instead of this part, for the non-undead, if you then you won't be able to cast it. And then since this is a mash button, I just won't cast it, and I'll just be a little patient. That's all. It doesn't get resisted that much, and I'll still be able to go through the cycle to get my blood nuke in a decent amount. I'm not a min-maxer, and that fits my play style, sort of. So let's give it an example here. I'll show you how it goes. Maybe it'll get resisted, and you'll see how, be a little bit of a bummer, but it's not that big a deal. Here we go, the mash button here. Okay, so I'm going to still go through it to put that dot on it. And hell, I may as well just do the blood nukes for funnies. And I got lucky. I got the chaotic effect on there. So that's cool. And what I could do, once this cycle of dots, my long dots are done, I could go back to those. But I'll just go all the way through all the dots before I try switch it, because this is a trash mob. If it was a rare mob, I'd probably go right back to try to get that really good dot on, and also to try to slow it. And I'm up to the number 5 there, the short dots. And here I go. I'm gonna try to see if I can turn this plant undead, because it's gonna burn its bones off, I guess. I don't know. Didn't do it again. May as well refresh the dot that's on it, or that was on it. And I may as well just do that. That dot is cheap as hell. Ooh, I got lucky with another chaotic. No, I didn't. I'm sorry. Thought I did. Or did I? No, I did. Let's try it again. Because this, at the end here, once I get all those dots on, I can just keep mashing this one button, which I normally don't like to do. Okay, so I turned it. Scourge and Destiny. Oh, okay, it doesn't really state if it's the bigger. That's going to be the big one. And with the spell thing. Anyway, it's just a really good dot. I'm not going to try to get crazy with it and find out, because you have to do the math, because it's all bonused and everything. This right here looks like it's probably not the undead version of it. I wasn't paying real close attention. I'd always do this off the cuff. Anyway, it's a good dot. Use it. Learn to use it. And just make sure you use the fire nuke that changes stuff undead. You'll be able to do that. You'll be able to slow stuff. Did I even bother trying to slow that mob? I think I was too busy talking. Anyway, be better than me. Have fun. It's a cool xpac. And this is EQ, and I am out of here.